Yo, it's your boy, Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today's new video, live stream, NFL top 5 rivalries going into the 2020 season with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. I hope everyone is having a great Saturday. They are playing the top 10 games of 2019 on NFL Network right now. They're doing kind of a marathon of all the best games from last season. I've already seen a few of them. They had the Giants defeating the Buccaneers in that last-second comeback with the Giants, which was amazing. Now we got the Eagles fly versus the Green Bay Packers from week 4. And it's going to continue, I think, all through the night and tomorrow. But I wanted to kind of touch on the rivalries as we're going in. And this isn't just anyone's rivalries. This is my motherfucking rivalries. My top 5 either matchups, as you can see in the thumbnail, Brady versus Breeze, not only once, but twice, maybe 4 times in the next 2 seasons. And then some of my other favorite matchups that I love to see from year to year. And there's some matchups that got a little bit more intrigue, a little bit more spice to them as we're going into 2020 for specific reasons. So I hope everyone is doing great. I'll wait for a few people to hop in the room, and then I'll acknowledge everyone. But I hope everyone, again, is having a great weekend. Turn on NFL Network when you guys have a shot. Packers versus Eagles, top 10 games of 2019 right now. And it's week 4, and they're going to continue it, a marathon all day, all night, all weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And then you can watch me as well, and we can watch the games together. And this is a good show that I kind of was thinking of, and I was digging kind of where, all right, what are the favorite matchups that I like watching each year? You know, I'm a fan of all the teams in the NFL since we are the Fanatic family. So there's certain matchups that we really love to watch week in and week out. And sometimes the rivalries are so fucking good, Lenny D, what to do, that I want to watch these matchups more than 2 times a season. Like Cowboys and Eagles, I could watch that 4 times a season. That might be one of my, I don't want to tease it, but that might be one of my ultimate top-notch rivalries, and it's been that way since I've been a little kid. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Randall Cunningham on one side, Troy Aikman on the other. I mean, we can go up and down with all the different rivalries over the years. But I'm really excited to go over this matchup, and it's my NFL top 5 rivalries going into the 2020 season with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. So let me actually just acknowledge everyone in the room, because you know that's kind of the routine that I go through every single video. I don't like to leave anybody out. And it's something that, you know, it's a regular routine for your boy. Stretchy Wink, sup, what to do? Aiden Langford is in the building. Let's go Texans. We'll see what kind of year you guys have. No more D-Hop, but it has a chance for Deshaun Watson really to shine this season. And then if he ends up showing out and they get to the fucking playoffs this year, we definitely need to raise that Madden rating for Deshaun Watson, and we can put him a little bit higher in the pedestal of top 10 quarterbacks. Because if he ends up getting the Texans to the playoffs this season, I think you might have to put him top 5, like at number 5 or number 4. And right now, we don't really know how good Deshaun Watson really is. Was it more of a D-Hop connection and being able to rely on J.J. Watt and some of the defense? Because we know the coaching for Bill O'Brien isn't the greatest. Let's be honest. You know, you can move on from him. But if they get to the playoffs this season, which I don't think they will, if they do, definitely need to bump that rating up. But we'll see what happens. Ryan Strick in the building. Chiefs, Ravens should be 1 or 2. We will see. We will see. He said all the way Texans, Aiden Langford. Charlie McAdams. That Chiefs and Ravens game is going to be so fun to watch. Lit. Damn right. Official Young Nola in the building. What to do, my guy? I know you've been grinding on your new mixtape. I'm grinding on the videos. We pumped out, I think, 4 live streams. Actually 5 if you count this one, this week. So we're pumping them out. We're getting closer and closer and fucking closer to the NFL season starting, which is exciting. So I'm pumping out more and more material for all of y'all. Hope everyone is doing great this Saturday. 6 Inc. in the building. Loving the consistency of these streams now. I mean, if I got the time to do them, I got a full-time job with that fishing warehouse. I got hired on. I'm no longer in the temp agency process, which is nice. So I got a set schedule from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And even if I'm tired and whatnot, I'm still going to pump out as many reaction videos and live streams, preferably live streams, because I like connecting with the fans and being able to talk with you guys and getting your opinions and seeing you guys talk shit to each other on the live stream. It cracks me up. I fucking love it. 6 Inc. in the building. What to do, my guy? Lenny D in the building. Fly, Eagles, fly. What to do, my guy? Robert's in the building. Seahawks versus Niners. Woo! I almost used that thumbnail. That was the thumbnail that I actually had Robert up before the Brady versus Breeze, because obviously, as you guys know, I'm a huge Bucs fan since '95. But that might be a thumbnail I end up using as we go into the season, or if I have another video. Definitely Richard Sherman on the Niners playing Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, his former teammate. I love that rivalry, and I'll let you know where I have that in my top 5. Hope you are having a great Saturday. Jamie's in the building. What to do? Anthony in the building. So I'm so excited to see Breeze and Brady against each other 2 times a year. Hell yeah, I am too. He said, raise that rating, Aiden says. Okay. What up, NWSF? Obviously, Philly, Dallas, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. We'll see if I have them on the list. 6 Inc. I think Saints, Bucks is a good choice for top 5. Everyone always wants Breeze and Brady every year. And normally, let's be honest, the Saints and the Bucks isn't a normal rivalry, because the Saints beat the brakes off my Bucks every single year. But as we're going into 2020, as you can see the headline of the video, that's what we're talking about, not the past, because normally it's Falcons and Saints in the NFC South, and the Bucs and the Panthers. That's kind of the natural rivalry process. But now we got Brady in the division versus Breeze, so it's going to be one of those enticing things that even if you don't give a shit about the NFC South, you don't give a shit about Brady or Breeze, you want to see this matchup to see if the Bucs are going to be legit and maybe end up going to the playoffs and, making a name for themselves, since we haven't been good since 2007. And then also you want to see Breeze and AK-41, Alvin Kamara, the alien, Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders coming in. And you want to see if the Saints are still going to be that top dog in the NFC, one of the top 2 teams going into 2020, and how they're going to be able to react going against Brady twice a year, and the rest of the division, Panthers and Falcons, and the rest of the competition in the NFC. But I hope everyone is doing good. Let's see here. Aiden Langford, he's like, you like when we talk crap too? Other people, well, yeah, I hear ya. The thing is that with the Texans and the Titans and the Colts and the Jags, it could be worse. As far as the Jaguars are concerned, they're kind of on the bottom of the pedestal. There's still room to be able to grow as a Texan fan, but realistically, the Texans, you're probably going to be 3rd in the division. The Titans look like they're the powerhouse in the AFC South. They got Tannehill back. They got Derrick Henry back. The defense looks good. The coach is great with Vrabel. I see them winning the division. And then the Colts have a great shot to get a wild card with Phillip Rivers there. I just don't know. That D-Hop loss is huge. And J.J. Watt ain't getting any younger either, but you never know. We'll have to see what it is. Ruiz, L.A. Rams. Best division in the NFL, honestly. Any matchup is fire. And that's going to be probably my next live stream. What division ends up having the best shot in the NFC and AFC to bring 3 teams to the playoffs? So maybe tomorrow that'll be my next live stream that I do. But like I said, I have a great show planned out for you guys today. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Turn on NFL Network. They got matchups all day, all night. We're going to with the best games of 2019, and they're doing a marathon from today and tomorrow. Now we're on number 7 already, where we got the Rams on TV. Okay, baby, I'm ready for this. Todd Gurley, I see you. I'm not sure if this is Rams or Seahawks. I know they just took it off the screen. Let me take a quick peek. Rams and Seahawks, hell yeah. I'm always down for that matchup, one of the best matchups that we can watch in the NFC West. Lenny D. Orion, did you get the idea of biggest rivalry because me and my homeboy be going at it on Twitter? Man, I see so many things of you and your homies, Lenny D, either on here in the chat, either with you, right, or JJ Trilla, we damn boys, right, the Cowboys and Eagles fans, always talking shit, and that's really the most entertaining kind of shit talking that I like to see, because the rivalry is real. I mean, I don't really think necessarily Bucs fans and Saints fans really hate each other, and I don't even think it's ever going to get to that point, but Cowboys fans and Eagles fans, they don't like each other. Chiefs, Ravens, as the rivalry grows, I feel there'll be a little bit more hate. There's a lot of respect there, but if the Chiefs start getting knocked off by the Ravens and they end up going to the Super Bowl and they get knocked off in that AFC Championship game a couple times, that rivalry is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and there'll be a little bit of animosity there. And then obviously we know with the Steelers and the Ravens, that's a pure rivalry to the fullest. They hate each other with a passion. And then Seahawks, Niners, that blood is real. So I definitely want to go over my you feel me? My NFL top 5 rivalries going into the 2020 season with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. So let's get the show started. Derek Tyler in the building. Atlanta and the New Orleans Saints definitely hate each other. That is true. They definitely do. But the Falcons really haven't been good since that Matt Ryan MVP year, the 28-3 Super Bowl debacle, right? So, I mean, Falcons fans don't really show up in the channel. They did show up a few years ago when they were good, but they sparingly come in. I'll see one or two once in a while. But let's get into my list. My NFL top 5 matchups, rivalries, the best of the best of the best. Sir, as we go into 2020, you feel me? I'm not trying to forget your Rams, Ruiz. I like the matchups. Your Rams have great rivalries, not only with the Seahawks, but with the Niners. And I actually feel that the Rams-Cardinal matchup is going to be very spicy this season. Maybe not top 5. If I did a top 10 list, I definitely would have had your Rams in one of those matchups, whether it had been Rams-Seahawks, Rams-Niners, Rams-Cardinals. So maybe I'll do that later on. What to do, Ruiz, my guy. So, number 5, to start off my list, my 5 matchups, my 5 rivalries, the ones that I can't wait to watch as we go into 2020. Now, obviously, I could have named the Browns, right, the Ravens, the Steelers, any combination of those teams, right? We saw Myles Garrett knock off the helmet, of Mason Rudolph, and I could have put that rivalry in there just based on that alone. But I feel even with the Browns, we don't know if the Browns are legit or, are they going to be trash like they usually are every year. But the bright side with the Browns, right, you ended up getting offensive lineman Jack Conklin, right? You got Wills from Alabama, Roll Tide, right? So they're just outside my top 5 with the Browns and the Steelers. So that's my honorable mention as far as matchups, the Browns and the Steelers, right? Because you got Myles Garrett, he got paid, right? And then you're going to have Big Ben Revenge Tour 2020. I'm excited to see that matchup because that division, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and Bengals are coming sooner than later with Joe Burrow. But legitimately, you could have 3 teams if the Browns actually play some fucking good football to make the playoffs this season. I'm banking more on the Ravens and Steelers, not so much the Browns. But keep an eye on that matchup, the Browns-Steelers matchups. Because if the Browns end up going 2-0 against the Steelers this season, they're going to the playoffs. But if they don't, I don't think they are. So those are key matchups. Same thing with the Ravens. They got to split with the Ravens, beat the Bengals twice, and they got to beat the Steelers twice, in my opinion, to be able to go to the playoffs this year. But if you're not going to beat the Bengals twice, beat the Steelers twice, and then split at least with the Ravens once, you're not going to go. I just don't think that they're deep enough this season. The offense looks great. The offensive line is improved, but as far as the defense is concerned, I mean, you got Myles Garrett. I get it. You got Denzel Ward, but who else is going to be able to step up? My honorable mention, number 6 matchup, the one that I'm really looking forward to, the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Myles Garrett swinging those fucking helmets, injuring people. Maybe Big Ben this year. Last year it was Mason Rudolph. I hope not. He got paid. Hopefully he matured. He's a hothead. But he is one of the best pass rushers in the league, no doubt. Myles motherfucking Garrett. All right, baby, let's get in the list. Number 5. My number 5 matchup has got the MVP last year. He is the Madden boy, cover boy, Lamar Action Jackson, new wave, and against the Big Ben Revenge Tour of 2020 and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens, Steelers, Steelers, Ravens. If you ended up watching NFL Network, they had the Ray Lewis, kind of documentary, and it shows how deep that the rivalry goes with the Steelers and the Ravens. I feel the Ravens are going to win the division. I think they're going to go 13-3 or better. I don't think anyone's going undefeated this season, but I think 13, 14, 15 wins this season, very attainable for the Ravens. The only team that's going to really put a deep threat on the Chiefs' chances of going back-to-back and being back-to-back champs is the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, I feel that Cam Newton and the Patriots will be a threat. I think Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills will be a threat. Big Ben, Revenge Tour, Pittsburgh Steelers will be a threat. But the tiers between the Chiefs, the Steelers, and the rest, there's a little bit of a gap there. Those are the 2 best teams by far built and ready for a Super Bowl. And like I mentioned earlier, I think whoever comes out of the AFC this season, Chiefs is my number 1, Ravens number 2. One of those 2 teams is winning the Super Bowl this season. I just don't think that the NFC team, whoever it is, Saints, Buccaneers, Seahawks, Niners, Packers, Vikings, and I mean, if you want to go Eagles, Cowboys, whoever it is, I just don't think you're going to be able to match up unless you play the perfect game. And I don't know if you can play a perfect game against Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. I think if you play the Chiefs, you got really no chance. If you play the Ravens, I feel there's a little bit more wiggle room, but if you got to stop Mark Ingram, you got to stop Lamar, and they got Calais Campbell, which is huge in the offseason and free agency. So that gives them one more piece to show their dominance. So I think the Ravens will be the divisional winner, obviously, in the AFC North. The king of the North, right? As Jon Snow would say in Game of Thrones. But the Steelers, they are the team that not a lot of people are giving pub right now. Let's look at their roster. You got Big Ben. He's healthy. You got James the Terminator Conner, get to the chopper. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. You got Deontay Johnson, who had a great year as a breakout wide receiver. You got Eric Ebron. He's going to be able to do some things. The defense has got one of my favorite players in the league, not J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt. He can do it all. Bud Dupree. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a G. I mean, they got a lot of pieces. And if somehow, some way, the Ravens have a few injuries, don't be surprised if the Pittsburgh Steelers leapfrog them, only if the injuries hit Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, Mark Andrews, Hollywood Brown, Calais Campbell. It's got to be one of their top 5 stars that goes down. That might give the Steelers a little wiggle room, because I think right now the Steelers are kind of primed for 9 to 12 wins, just depending on if they can stay healthy. I just don't know if they can. They have been banged up quite a bit. Juju Smith-Schuster, a lot of pressure this year. Big Ben, Revenge Tour 2020, a lot of pressure this year. And the sleeper player on that team, Deontay Johnson. Not a lot of people remember him, but you have him in fantasy and you watch his development on the field. He can be a guy that really helps them break out. I love Minkah Fitzpatrick, Bud Dupree. T.J. Watt's the best player that they have, and I never really knew if they were going to recover from the Ryan Shazier incident. He was the heart and soul of that Pittsburgh Steelers defense. But I feel now with T.J. Watt, they are starting to kind of bring the heat. Arguably they have one of the best defenses in the league. It's definitely top 5. Some people think it's number 1, number 2 with the Niners and a few other teams. I think that they are legit. So look for that matchup. The Ravens and Steelers. That's going to be a little bit more exciting than the Browns and Steelers to me, just because we don't know how good the Steelers are going to be. People are not talking about them. Even the Browns are getting more fucking pub than the Steelers. That's disrespectful. You got to go with the franchise that has the better coach, Mike Tomlin, and they got a better organization that's run the proper way, even though people thought Tomlin would be fired by now. Ravens, Steelers, Steelers, Ravens. I can't fucking wait for that matchup twice a year. that is my number 5. Number 4. Number 4 is one of my favorite matchups of all time. I'm on the West Coast. I'm here in Oregon representing the 503, all right? I'm in Oregon. I'm 10 minutes away from Beaverton, Nike headquarters, Paul Allen, everything that we have here. Obviously, RIP to Paul Allen. But with the Blazers and the Seahawks, the Oregon Ducks, I mean, these are the teams that everyone really talks about out here in the Northwest. Niners are talked about out here, Raiders, Chargers, because we're on the West Coast. But the Seattle Seahawks and the San Francisco 49ers is my number 4 matchup, as you can see in the thumbnail that I almost used. Richard motherfucking Sherman versus Russell Wilson. I can't wait for this matchup because most people feel the 49ers are going to steamroll the Seahawks. Seahawks have not been the same since they let Frank Clark go. When Frank Clark went to the Chiefs, what fucking happened? They went to the fucking Super Bowl and they won. Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Chris Jones, Honey Badger. Arguably, those are the 3 best trio members that I've seen in the last couple years based on just the chemistry that they have together, 2 pass rushers plus a guy on the back end. Is there a better trio than those 3 from last season? Frank Clark, Chris Jones, and Honey Badger? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me if there's a better trio than that last season, and I think they're going to continue that trend. But with Richard Sherman, he's a guy that he banks on himself. You know, he's from Stanford. A lot of people think he's a thug. He's a punk. He talks too much. I respect the hell out of him. I watched him at Stanford for his whole career. He is one of the most intelligent NFL minds that we have. He's a little brash and a little outspoken, right? But he believes in what he says, and a lot of stuff that he does say is legit. It's true. People just have hate on him. He had the injury. Seahawks let him go, which was probably a mistake. The Niners are like, we're going to give you a shot. He rehabbed, he studied, he watched film, he got his body in shape, and he had one of the best comeback seasons that I've ever seen from a guy that was just written off. That Richard Sherman is no longer, a top 5 corner. He doesn't got it. You know what I mean? He's a Hall of Fame player to me, and just that performance that he had last season really gained a lot of respect on my end because going against Russell Wilson and a lot of these top quarterbacks is tough, and Richard Sherman ain't getting any younger, right? But this matchup, Russell Wilson, Tyler, get to the door and lock it. DK Metcalf is going to break out. Chris Carson, one of the most underrated running backs in the entire league. That's facts, right? The defense, though, on the Seahawks side, it's a little thin. They got Bobby Wagner, but who else? The Legion of Boom is no longer there. So that makes me a little worried. But as long as you got Dangerous Russell Wilson, you can almost bank in 10 wins, and they're going to be in the playoffs as a wild card or a divisional winner. But this season with the Rams and the Cardinals, they're starting to get people on that trending loop on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram where people are like, Niners, Seahawks, Seahawks, Niners. Let's not sleep on the Rams and the Cardinals this season. Sometimes teams get better a year too early. Could it be the year of the Rams and the Cardinals leapfrogging one or both of these teams? I know it sounds crazy, but with a few injuries to a few key players like Jimmy G, right, or George Kittle, or Russell Wilson, or Tyler Lockett, or Chris Carson, the talent that the Rams and the Cardinals have, they're not that far behind. People think that, to me, that's the best division in football, the NFC West. From top to bottom, the Cardinals have the best talent as the worst team in the NFC West. If you look at all the teams that are the bottom feeders, in every single division in football, NFC, AFC, the Cardinals have so much promise. I can guarantee they're going to make a wild card sooner than later. And with Kyler Murray, D-Hop, Larry Fitzgerald, Andy Isabella, Christian Kirk, Chandler Jones, a top 5 player in the NFL right now. Yeah, I said it. Top 5 player in the NFL right now. I'd probably have him at number 5. He's legit. He can get, punch outs, what I mean? He's got good sack numbers. He's just been legit since he came in the league, playing with the Patriots and now with the Cardinals. I like Buda Baker. Isaiah Simmons is a guy that people are sleeping on as well. On the flip side with the Rams, Cam Akers. But this Niner-Seahawk matchup is going to be very spicy to see if Russell Wilson can really put more on his shoulders to be able to get that NFC West crown. And the Niners, Deebo Samuel is out. Brandon Ayuk in. Right? And then you had to make some moves to be able to get Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. Everyone is going to know who Brandon Ayuk's name is, just like you knew Deebo Samuel about halfway through the year. Deebo Samuel got injured. They had to make some adjustments with the team that they had with the line, but you still got Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, D. Ford, Sherman. They're looking nice. Fred Warner is one of the most underrated linebackers in the league. So if I was really looking at teams overall, even with the Deebo Samuel injury, I have probably the Saints and the Niners as the 2 best teams in the NFC today going into 2020. So I can't wait for the Niners and the Seahawks twice a year. And I'm out here in Oregon. So that matchup is super, super spicy. We got a lot of Niner fans here in Oregon, a lot of Niner fans and Seahawk fans in Oregon and Seattle and in Washington and California, just right up and down this West Coast. Everyone talks about it. And it's one of those matchups that lately, It's been must-see TV. I mean, it's one of the best rivalries in football, period. The Niners and the Seahawks at number 4. At number 3, I normally would have the Niners-Seahawks rivalry higher than this rivalry, but now we got Tom Brady, okay, Robert Gronkowski, okay, versus the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees twice a year. Number 3, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers since 95 represent. And the New Orleans Saints with Drew Brees and Michael Thomas and company. Normally this rivalry isn't a rivalry, let's be honest. The Saints have been great. They've beaten the brakes off the Buccaneers, the Panthers, and the Falcons over and over and over again. And they've been the champ. The champ is here of the division over and over again. But this is a new season. Now you have Tom Brady there. People say he's washed up. We'll see. We got Gronk there, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. Things are looking good. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are 2 of the top 10 receivers in this league, in my opinion. But the third option wide receiver that no one talks about, who's going to be the next Chris Godwin, is Tyler Johnson from Minnesota. They're looking for that third option, that guy that can be a reliable source for someone other than Gronk, Mike Evans, or Chris Godwin. Remember that name. Tyler Johnson. It may take him a year or 2 to get kind of comfortable in the system, but they're going to play him a lot, and I think that he can earn that third spot as the wide receiver number 3 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And let's not sleep on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they did in the last 6 games. 4-2 record. My front 7 is nice. JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, right? You got Ndamukong Suh, right? You got Shaq Barrett, the sack leader last year, 19.5 sacks. Probably won't get that many this season, but I bet you he gets at least 10 or more, right? You got Devin White from LSU, one of the most special underrated linebackers as we're going in to 2020. My favorite player, as you can see, Lavonte David, okay, represent my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my favorite player in the league. And the back end is very slept on, and I bet you we make some plays. And on the flip side, you got Drew Brees, AK-41, Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, Michael Thomas, the 99 Madden member. We know he's legit. He's the best wide receiver in the game. You can't guard him. You only hope to contain him. And you bring in Emmanuel Sanders, and you got Jared Cook cooking up the competition. But what I'm kind of wondering, how good is that defense going to be? You end up having Cameron Jordan, one of the best pass rushers in the league. You got Marshawn Lattimore. Will he have a bounce-back year and have 5 picks or more? You got a lot of nice pieces on that defense, too. Demario Davis, a.k.a. the Glue, one of my favorite players in the league as well. But that matchup is going to be really spicy. There's no more coasting in as the NFC South champ. At least you have one team in the Buccaneers that's going to fight you for it. The Panthers are about a year or 2 away of being really competitive. The Falcons, we don't know anything about them. If they end up making the playoffs, it's going to really shock the hell out of everyone. Honestly, especially with the Saints and the Buccaneers and the Panthers in that division. Todd Gurley's there, but what's that knee look like? Matt Ryan's there. Calvin Ridley will have a breakout year. I think that he's going to really be special. Julio's great as usual, but what about the defense? What about the coaching? What about the special teams? A lot of question marks. But I definitely like this Bucs matchup. And first game 1, Buccaneers versus the Saints in the Dome. How hard is it to win in the Dome? It's nearly impossible. It doesn't really matter who you are. If you're a contender, if you're the Packers, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Niners, the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Chiefs, whoever it is. When you go into the Dome, it's very tough. That fan base is one of the most passionate, littiest fan bases in the entire NFL. New Orleans Saints. They've gone through some heartaches the last 3 seasons. They know that Brees' time is coming to an end. Right? But I feel in week 1, the Bucs have a shot. The Bucs have a shot with their defense and their team. More than likely, they'll drop that first game and they'll get the L, right? But we play them twice a season and we'll get them at home. But if the Bucs somehow, some way win that game, right, the rest of the 4 games after that are pretty easy. And then week 6, they got the Packers. So if they can end up being 4-2 or 5-1, the Bucs are going to make the playoffs. It's really that first game against the Saints in the Dome and week 6 against the Packers. And depending on if they can split between those 2 matchups, they got a few games in between against like Denver and the Panthers. I feel that they can win those games. So I'm really excited to see the Buccaneers and Tom Brady and Gronk going against Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and the New Orleans Saints. I got them at number 3. NFL top 5 rivalries going into the 2020 season. My top 5 with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. Top 10 games of 2019, number 7, right now from last season. NFL Network is doing a marathon. So once I'm done, or as you're watching this right now, turn on the TV and watch the game with me. We got Jared Goff and the Goffense going against Russell Wilson, Dangerous, and the Seahawks. It is exciting. It's lit. They're on game number 7. They're going to play them all throughout the night, I believe, and tomorrow. Or maybe this will be the last game tonight, and then they'll do a few of the games tomorrow. But, I mean, games are like 3.5 hours long or so, 3 to 3.5. So I'm excited to stay up almost all night and watch all these matchups. I miss football so much. Number 3, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints, my top 3 rivalry to watch this season. And you could argue that could be close to the top at number 1, number 2 as well, with Brady and Breeze. I mean, we haven't really seen that matchup that many times in Brady and Breeze's history together. Number 2, my number 2 favorite rivalry going into 2020 is not a rivalry that I feel is just for 2020. This rivalry has been so passionate and one of favorites of mine since I've been 5-6 years old, starting to watch football in 1985. When I started watching football early on, this rivalry has always had the passion, the energy. These two teams fucking hate each other more than any other 2 teams in football. To me, this is one of the greatest rivalries in sports, not even just NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, college football, college basketball. I mean, I'm talking, this is one of the best fucking rivalries, even if you don't like either one of these teams. I'm talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Woo! Fly, Eagles, fly. And the Dallas Cowboys. We them boys. Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott. Can it get any better than that? I mean, I love the NFC East. Yeah, I'm an NFC South boy. All right, I'm a Tampa Bay Buccaneer through and through since 1995. But every single year, I can't wait to watch the matchups. Not even just the Eagles and Cowboys. Cowboys, Redskins. Eagles, Redskins. And then you can even mix in a little Giants in there now because Danny Dimes is there, Saquon is there, and it's fun. They're not on the same level, the Eagles and the Cowboys, with the Redskins and the Giants, but they're getting better, and slowly they'll be able to compete with those teams. But as you know, it's typically a different team in the division that wins the division every year. More so in the last 10 or 12 years. You typically don't have repeat division winners that often in the NFC East if you follow that division. But I absolutely love this fucking rivalry. Carson Wentz, underrated. Dak Prescott, underrated. Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott. If you're a Cowboy fan, I know that maybe hurts you, to hear that, right? But the bottom line is both guys are underappreciated. Both guys have the microscope on them. But both guys have something to prove this season to really show what they can do. I got the Eagles as the best team in the NFC East today. I got the Eagles winning the division in the NFC East when it's all said and done. But I think the Cowboys could still make a wild card and get in. I think it's going to be very close because, as you guys normally know, the teams and the margin of error is very slim. So if the division ends up being 9-7, then you got someone right behind them at 8-8. If it ends up being 10-6, then you got someone at 9-7. If it's 11-5 for the Eagles, then you know the Cowboys are going to be 10-6. I mean, that's just always how it goes. There's typically not a 2-win gap or higher in the NFC East. It's very competitive. They're feisty. They don't like each other. You got guys like DeMarcus Lawrence and Leighton Vander Esch on one side, which I love. No more Byron Jones. Who? Byron Jones. He's moved on. So they're going to have to see what they can do to fill that spot and see what results that they get. And on the Eagles side, you got Darius, big play say. You got Fletcher Cox. You got Derek Barnett. You got plenty of guys on the defense and offensive side of the ball. Miles Sanders is probably one guy that I'm really looking forward to besides CeeDee Lamb on the opposite side, the rookie wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. But Miles Sanders has a chance really to show out like Josh Jacobs did last season. And for the Eagles to be successful in the postseason, they're going to really need Miles Sanders to stay healthy for the full year. And the breakout guy that I have for the Eagles this season, it could be Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert or Alshon or D-Jax, but no. The breakout X factor this season, and it's not J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, even though he's starting to get better and better with his progressions. It's going to be Jalen Reagor, the deep threat. When you have a deep threat, Carson Wentz's game goes to the next level. And if D-Jax can shut his mouth and just play football, don't be on social media. Just play football, D-Jax. That's what you're great at. You got him on one side, Rager on the other, or shit, both of them on the same side. How do you stop that? How do you defend that? You got two burners there. And what a better guy to learn from, than Djax, one of the best deep threats of all time. So I'm really excited to see the Eagles and the Cowboys, a.k.a. Cowgirls to some people, right? The rivalry is real. You know what I mean? They don't like each other, right? But ultimately, both teams are good. Right? I'm not sure if I'm sold on Mike McCarthy. It's a little bit different than Dougie P. I got a lot more respect for Doug Peterson. They haven't really been the same since Frank Reich moved on, as we know. He's a brilliant mind. He's trying to get the Colts back, to being relevant again. But I feel with the pieces that they've drafted, everything that's going on, they got the double tight end set. Zach Ertz, very disrespected. Dallas Goedert could be the starter at any point. He's great. And then you got a nice offensive line, good coaching. That's the team to really worry about in the NFC East. But the Eagles, top dogs. Cowboys, number 2. Redskins and Giants are coming. I have the Redskins at the bottom, Giants at number 3. But don't be surprised if the Redskins or Giants steal a game from the Cowboys and Eagles this season. It happens almost every year that you'll end up dropping one to one of those teams. You're not going to lose both to the Redskins or the Giants, but every once in a while, maybe Saquon goes off or maybe the Redskin defense goes off. But it's really fun to watch the NFC East. To me, it's the funnest division in football for me to watch besides the NFC South since I'm a Buccaneers guy. I love the NFC West as well. To see the Niners and the Seahawks. And then obviously the AFC, you love seeing the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Steelers and the Bills. But I really am excited to see that matchup. Number 2 matchup, my favorite matchup to watch not only in 2020, but every motherfucking year. Eagles fly versus the Dallas Cowboys. Wentz, Dak Prescott, that's must-see TV. I can watch that matchup 3 or 4 times a year, period. That's big facts. And then we go to number 1. Who is my number 1 favorite matchup going into 2020? You already know who it is. It's Patrick the Clone Mahomes versus Lamar Action Jackson, new wave. The Ravens versus the Chiefs. The Ravens are favored in every single game this season. They're not going 16-0, all right? Now let's put some respect on the Chiefs' name. I have a feeling that they are going to go back-to-back, but if they get knocked off, the Ravens are definitely the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs. You got 2 of the best quarterbacks that we've seen in quite some time. Totally different. One's more of a pocket guy that can improv and do behind-the-back passes. If you saw that video on Twitter today, unbelievable. He can do no-look passes, behind-the-back passes. He could throw a blindfold on and still make it. Patrick the Clone Mahomes, the MVP from 2 years ago, Super Bowl MVP, the champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you got the Ravens, the cover boy of Madden, and Lamar Jackson. So they didn't finish their season the way they wanted to, but neither did Patrick Mahomes the year before when he won MVP. So sometimes when you win the MVP, you don't necessarily win the Super Bowl that same year. So I know the Ravens are coming. The Chiefs are great. They're going to get plenty Lombardis before it's all said and done, especially if Mahomes stays for 12 years. But let's not sleep on the Baltimore Ravens. I could really see them making the Super Bowl this year somehow, some way, if they play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, or if the Chiefs play someone like the Titans and get upset by somehow, they just play a perfect game or Derrick Henry goes off, and then it ends up being Ravens-Titans in the AFC Championship game. I could see them going all the way. And with the Ravens, if they can keep their roster intact, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, Mark Ingram, and Calais Campbell, Judon, and everyone that they got on their roster. Marlon Humphrey. They got a nice roster. The Ravens, I feel, will be able to go to 1 or 2 Super Bowls in the next 6 to 7 years, maybe win 1, lose 1. Chiefs are going to be favored every time that they go in, winning the Super Bowl and the Lombardi. But I'm really excited for this matchup because everyone keeps saying that the Ravens are going undefeated in the media. They're favored in every game. I don't have them beating the Chiefs, regardless if the Chiefs are at home in Arrowhead or if they're in Baltimore. I have the Chiefs winning that game, period. But it's going to be spicy. It's going to be exciting. And I feel this is going to be the biggest rivalry in sports, not just college basketball or college football, right? We're not talking just MLB or NBA. But with those 2 type of athletes at the quarterback position, the kind of faces of the NFL, Lamar Jackson for Baltimore and the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, I mean, gosh, it doesn't get any fucking better than that. You got Patrick Mahomes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Damian Williams. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be amazing. Don't be surprised if he gets in the end zone 8 to 10 times this season, depending on how many reps that he gets in Andy Reid and Bieniemy's system. Okay, Sammy Shaboing-Boying-Watkins, underrated. Right? You got Travis Kelce, the best tight end in football. Tyreek the Freak Hill, a top 4 wide receiver in the league, the fastest wide receiver in the league. Chris Jones, Chris Jones, a top 5 pass rusher in the NFL. He got his money, he's staying. Honey Badger, a top 5 safety in the NFL. Frank Clark, a underappreciated pass rusher who I feel is a top 12 pass rusher in the entire league. One of the best trios in Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Chris Jones, and Honey Badger that we've seen in quite some time. And they've kept the core together. 20 of 22 starters are back. So you tell me why the Chiefs aren't going to be able to compete on the high level that they have the last 2 seasons, and they are the new dynasty. They are the new face of the NFL. And, if you can't see that, you know what I mean, you're blind. I mean, you just got to look at the talent that they have, the coaching that they have in Andy Reid. Top 5 coach all time in my book, Andy Reid. I know a lot of Eagles fans felt a little burned that he just couldn't get it done. But you knew at some point Andy Reid was going to get that Super Bowl ring. You know what I mean? He's a very likable coach, a player's coach, very intelligent, very passionate, and he just had some hard times, in those NFC Championship games early with Donovan McNabb. You know what I mean? I've always respected the hell of Andy Reid, and it's like Tony Dungy for me. I love the guy for my Bucs, right? But he was just too soft. He was just too predictable. You know what I mean? He would always go for, a field goal on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, too conservative. Then you brought John Gruden in with his play calling, Spider 2-wide banana, brought a whole new attitude to the Buccaneers with Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, and then we got it done. So I kind of feel, everything happened for a reason. I already talked about it with Lenny D and a few of the Eagles fans before. They say, fuck Chip Kelly. But if it wasn't for Chip Kelly leaving Oregon, my Oregon Ducks, going to the Eagles and the Niners, he broke up LaShawn McCoy, and obviously the rest of the, Jeremy Maclin and the roster there, and that hurt, right? But if he never would have did that to break that team up, you guys would have never been in position to get Carson Wentz, and then getting Carson Wentz, even though he got hurt, he helped you that year. He would have won MVP that season, right, if he didn't get hurt, and he would have won the Super Bowl for the Eagles. I feel very, very confident in that statement. Nick Foles did an amazing job, almost like a movie-type scenario. Philly, amazing. That's probably one of the most memorable Super Bowl runs that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'll tell you one thing. Out of all the Super Bowl parades that I've ever watched, out of all of them, I watched the Buccaneers, when they won the Super Bowl against the Raiders in 2002 going into 2003. The only other one that I've watched, like 8 hours of coverage, right, was the Philadelphia Eagles. When they ended up winning the Super Bowl, the emotion of all the friends that I have that are Eagles fans and just the fans and just the heartache and all the tough times that they've had, I watched all of that coverage, 8 hours, 9 hours of the Eagles. It meant something to me, because I want to soak that in, because I felt like I was an Eagle fan when I was watching, the energy and the speeches and everything that was going on, with Kelsey's speech and everything else. I mean, it was crazy. It was very emotional, and I love it. And Lenny D, you can keep saying fuck Chip Kelly, but think about it. If Chip Kelly didn't come there's no Super Bowl for you, bud. There's no Super Bowl for Eagles fans if Chip Kelly didn't break that team up, period. So, I mean, would you rather have had Chip Kelly had success and then you have no Super Bowl at this time? Hell no. You want that Super Bowl. That's what it's about. You know what I mean? You have to see where it brought you. It brought you a lot of pain and confusion. You're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Right? And obviously he's not a good NFL coach because he went to the Niners and couldn't do it there either. And now he's having problems at UCLA. Probably should have just stayed at Oregon. You know what I mean? Could have built a legacy like Saban there. It is what it is. But it was a very special time to me as a fan to watch that rivalry. And I feel that rivalry was very, very controversial, right? But it's something that you never can take away from Eagles fans ever. And then with the Ravens and Chiefs, like I said, in the rivalries in football, them at number 1, I mean, that's the most enticing matchup that you're going to see from many, many years to come. I mean, I really feel they're not going to play each other every year unless they play each other in the playoffs, obviously. But I think that this is so special, and we need it because Drew Brees is getting older, Tom Brady's getting older, Phillip Rivers, Big Ben. We need Andrew Luck's already out of the league. So we need this new breed, this new blood. Aaron Rodgers will be out of the league pretty soon. So we need these new pieces of talent to be able to represent our NFL that we love. And I can't wait to watch that matchup, even though everyone thinks that the Ravens are going to go undefeated and they're favored in every game. I have the Chiefs winning that game, but it should be close. I can't wait to watch it. NFL top 5 rivalries going into the 2020 season. My top 5 with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here, patreon.com, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. So let me look at the comments since I finished the list and just kind of acknowledge everyone from the point where I left off. All right. So I get you want to put Brady, but out. Okay, I see you. But yeah, with the Brady and Breeze, you got to think the rivalry is going to be something there that is going to be special. I mean, everyone's got their own opinion, with the rivalries and whatnot. But I mean, I think Brady Breeze deserves to be in the top 5 personally. That's just what I feel. Ruiz, LA Rams, best division in the NFL. Honestly, he says any matchup is fire in the NFC West. I definitely agree. NFC South is a close second. It's going to be fire. I think as far as divisions right now, I think NFC West is the best division in football, and then I probably have the AFC North as the second best division overall, top to bottom, because I think Joe Burrow will be a lot better than people think. And I kind of, as a sleeper, I kind of like the NFC North. You got the Packers, you got the Vikings, and you got the Lions. The Bears should be booty, right? But I think people are sleeping a little bit too much on Matthew Stafford and their roster. I could definitely see them sneaking into the playoffs this season. I mean, it seems like they always do about every 3 to 4 years. But NFC South should be pretty fire as well. Aiden Langford in the building. Say, how long are you staying on tonight? I don't know. Maybe hour or so, hour and a half. It just depends, with the people that are in the room and what I feel. I don't have a whole lot of time. That's why I wanted to be able to pump this out. I got a lot of film study still to do. I'm going to be watching this Rams and Seahawks matchup on NFL Network. I got a lot of reading to do to go over all the team websites, kind of get myself primed for, starting lineups with offense and defense, any moves that the teams are making, free agency, if I heard anything about Clowney or some of these other guys that are available on the market. But I always try to put out as much material as I can. Saints, Bucs. Going to be the headline on your birthday. I know, isn't that crazy? You better hope your Saints win, young Nola. You better hope, because it won't be a great birthday. It'll be an okay birthday for you, especially if the Saints don't pull out that W. But, I mean, I'll tell you what, if my Bucs can find a way to win that game on your birthday, I mean, I don't want your birthday to be shitty. By no means necessary. Love you, brother. But that would be a bigger win for my Bucs than your Saints, because your Saints are still favored to win the NFC South. A lot of people think that the Bucs are going to go 7-9 or 8-8 or worse, and I'm hoping that we can prove them wrong, that we are legit this season. Atlanta and Nolans definitely hate each other. Facts. The disrespect of my Rams got me forgetting your intro. What it do, baby? Ruiz. I like your Rams, though. You got to think about it, Ruiz. Out of anyone on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, I think I've given more love to the Rams than anybody else that is, unless you're a Rams fan and you're part of the Ramily. I mean, have you heard anything positive from anyone that wasn't a Rams fan? News-wise, I haven't heard anything positive. Everyone is just sleeping on them or thinking they're not going to be that good. And I call it right down the middle. I think that the Rams are going to be legit, and don't be surprised if they make the playoffs this season. Same thing with the Cardinals. I think people think there's no chance that they get to the playoffs, and I think that's crazy. I think the Rams and the Cardinals have a fantastic shot. That's the best division in football right now, the NFC West. All 4 teams could make the playoffs. Big facts. Lenny D, he said, you know what's crazy? The original rivalry is Redskins-Cowboys and Eagles-Giants. Yeah, I do know that from back in the day. The original rivalry. But the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry is a new age rivalry. Agreed. And the Giants and the Redskins really haven't been as good as they were in years past. Lawrence Taylor, Hostetler, they Bavaro, you know what I mean? They've had so many Phil Simms, and then, going back with Mark Rippon and Art Monk. You know what I mean? And going Dexter Manley. I mean, I can go on for days and days and days and days. Riggins back in the day. Doug Williams. They actually had the Doug Williams 1987 Super Bowl kind of documentary on last night. And I'm a big Doug Williams guy. Him on Tampa Bay and then him going to the Redskins. It was awesome to be able to watch that matchup. The Redskins, I believe, in the Broncos. It was a nice little kind of documentary. I love when NFL Network does that. But you're right. Yeah, Eagles and the Cowboys is a new age rivalry, but those are the 2 best teams in the NFC East, and they have been the 2 best teams in the NFC East for quite some time, even when Romo was there as well. You should do a top 5 non-divisional matchups this year. I will do that, Ruiz. I will actually do a video for that comment. Absolutely. Jomo says Chiefs Kingdom in the building. What to do? Aiden in the building. Robert says Cleveland's run defense was awful last year. Couldn't stop the run. Agreed. But it should be a little bit better this season. Like I said, I'm not really sold on Cleveland's defense. And even the offense. You got all those names there. Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham with the blonde hair, Baker. I do like the offensive line, though, so that gives me some promise. Because as you guys know, I'm a linebacker guy, but I'm an offensive line guy. So you brought Wills in from Bama. Jack Conklin from the Titans. So you should have one of the top 10 offensive lines this season. So if they don't get to the playoffs, that's Baker. That's on Baker and the coaching with Stefanski. I don't really like Odell Beckham personally as a fantasy guy. I wouldn't pick him on my team. You know what I mean? He's an amazing talent from time to time. Sometimes I feel he's not focused as much as some of the other wide receivers in the league. Jarvis Landry, he's kind of above average to me, but I'm not really big on him either. Austin Hooper's coming in from the Falcons. He should be a good check down guy. Njoku on the other side, even though he doesn't want to be there. Really the only players that I like on the roster, and Kareem Hunt as the backup is nice, but I love Nick Chubb, and I like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. So I like three guys on the Browns, and we'll see what they do. With this offensive line, it'll give Baker more time, so if he can just go through his progressions, and then getting that extra weapon with Austin Hooper could make the difference of them going, 5 to 7 wins to 9 to 11 wins. But if you're going to get to 9 to 11 wins, that means you got to beat the Bengals twice, you got to beat the Steelers twice, and then you got to split with the Ravens once. And I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. And that same category goes for the Steelers as well. Steelers would have to beat the Bengals twice. You'd have to beat the Browns twice and split one with the Ravens. You're going to have to go like 4-2 or 5-1 in that division to make the playoffs. And that's a tough fucking division. That's facts. Ruiz, LA Rams. A slight chance I might work for the Rams as a COVID-19. Really? He's like cleaned up after the players. Okay. So I didn't have a full-time job and I was trying to do it on the weekends. Man, that'd be sweet. Give me some pictures, Ruiz. Send them to me on Twitter, man. Yeah, anytime if you can end up working with any type of pro organization, that's like a dream come true, man. That'd be sweet, Ruiz. Let me know if that ends up working out for you. Jomo, I do tickets at Chiefs games. No way. Free to get in the game? Jomo? Man, you need to hook your boy up. If I can go to any game, in the entire United States, there'd be a Chiefs game. That's facts. I definitely want to go there. They got one of the best fan bases, period, in the NFL. Crazy. Que pasa, Orion? Big Jim Cruz. Fly, Eagles fly. What to do, my guy? Young Nola says, we gonna punish the Chiefs. I doubt it. I know Saints fans are confident. They love their team. All right. But Chiefs are on a whole nother level, my guy. A lot of people don't realize how great they are. I don't see them losing very many games this season. Jomo says, Nola, he says the Saints aren't ready. It'll be exciting to see some of these matchups. But I will do some, non-divisional matchups, top 5. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow in a video. As long as Russ is QB, Hawks always have a shot. Agreed. Shrek says, LOL, Nola. He's like, the only advantage you have is the dome. But that's a huge one, Shrek. You got to admit, just like when people play Kansas City and they play there, in your guys' home stadium, the same thing goes when people come to the dome. It's tough to win there. Seahawks win because Wilson is Houdini, top 2 quarterback. And he has been for quite some time. That's facts. Sherman is on the decline. I strongly believe this is his last year. Well, he didn't show it last season. He was amazing. Let's give him some props, Ruiz. I know you're a Rams guy, right? But Sherman played better than anyone ever anticipated last season. Can we at least admit to that? That, he played and covered way better than anyone ever thought. At least for me. I think a lot of people didn't know where he was going to be. David C. in the building. What to do? Jake White. Who dat? You dat in the building. NFL top 5 rivalries going into the 2020 season with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Even $1 helps. If you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. Derek Tyler's in the building. Arizona got Hopkins too. Don't forget that, of course. Kyler Murray is the next superstar in the NFL. As far as all the other guys that are in the league primed to break out, I like Kyler Murray. I like Chase Young, right? It's young season. And I like Isaiah Simmons for the Cardinals. So the top 3 guys that I really feel that are really going to make a name and break out, Isaiah Simmons on the defense for the Cards, Kyler Murray on the offense, right? And obviously Chase Young on the Redskins defense. It's very exciting to be able to see the new breed and the new talent coming in. But also with the Cardinals, they need to build that O-line a little bit more, build up the defense. But they're coming just like the Rams are. I'm really excited to see all those matchups in the NFC West. And it's nice because before, a lot of people would be like, I don't want to watch the Cardinals, even if you like Kyler Murray or not or whatever. But especially with the addition of D-Hop, now you're like, okay. And I love defense, so I'm a big Isaiah Simmons guy. So if you watched him, he's kind of like a Darius Leonard kind of guy where he's going to be able to get out there immediately and make a difference with Chandler Jones and Budda Baker on the back end. So I'm really excited to see if he can make a Pro Bowl his first season, Isaiah Simmons from Clemson at linebacker. Same thing goes for Chase Young from Ohio State on the Washington Redskins as well. Ruiz says Van Jefferson. Remember that. All right, I will. Big Jim Cruz says 8-8 for my Bucs. I disagree. I really feel that with the talent that we have, the least amount of wins we're going to get is 10. I really feel that. I feel the secondary is a little bit better than people think because people just don't know the names of those guys. The front seven is great for my Bucs, but I guarantee with the pressure that they put on the quarterbacks this season, the secondary is going to make a lot of plays and surprise a lot of people, and that's how we're going to get to the playoffs this season, and that's facts. They are young, but they have a lot of talent, a lot of young talent that's on the rise. Lenny D, Bucs about to be a problem in the NFC South. Don't sleep on them. I'm telling people, you know what I mean? Like, just look at the talent. I don't care if you like Brady or not or Gronk. We're coming. There's a chance that they could win the NFC South this year. I kind of feel next year was the year to do it, but you never know. The gap between the top guy in NFC South and number 2 is only going to be a win or 2 wins apart. 12-4 for the Saints, 10-6 for the Bucs. But if somehow, some way, Drew Brees gets hurt and Jameis is the quarterback, good luck. The Bucs can overtake him if that happens, or if they end up having Michael Thomas go down or AK-41 or Cameron Jordan. We can leapfrog them and get an extra win out of that if those guys go down with some injuries or just play bad football. So I don't expect them to play bad football. I expect them to win 12 or 13 games this season, 11-13. But you never know. This is the NFL. Anything can happen. Winfield, Antonio Winfield Jr., just like his dad was a nice pick. I think it's a sleeper pick. I really like the Tyler Johnson pick, Jake White, as well. He'll be the number 3 guy for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Chris Godwin on one side, amazing talent, right? Mike Evans on the other side. And this Tyler Johnson kid from Minnesota broke a lot of records in the Big Ten. He's got a chance to be like a Chris Godwin, like from last season. And they actually put out a Chris Godwin best plays from every game last season video. Amazing. It was one of the best highlight packages from a young, upcoming wide receiver that I've seen in probably 5 years. Just like I said about Michael Gallup last year in preseason, that he was going to break out. He did. I told all y'all Chris Godwin was going to be the number 1 breakout player, and he was. So obviously I do my research, and I know. And it's not just for Bucs players. It's for every single team, every single player in the NFL. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Troll Patrol, Big Jim Cruz in the building. Said the Washington Bums, New York Midgets. Cowgirl fans will get over it, and they know Wentz is better than Dak. Bird Gang in the building. What's up, everybody? Fly, Eagles, fly. Wentz over Dak. It's true. It's damn true, like Kurt Angle would say. What to do? 50 TDs for Wentz this season. I don't think 50, but I definitely think that you can get into that 35 to 42 range for Wentz. I think this is going to be a big year. And if Rager can get in the end zone, I think people are anticipating 5 to maybe 7 touchdowns. If somehow he can get in the end zone, 9 to 10, that might be the difference, from end up going from maybe 10-6 to 12-4. If you can get about 3 or 4 more touchdowns from Rager, I think that would be huge. Big deep threats against really competitive teams, not only in the NFC East, but overall in football. Lenny D, you got all the deep threats, my guy. It's like, what do you think about Cooks and Fuller? What are your thoughts? As you mentioned, how do you stop the speed like the Chiefs? A lot of teams are starting to copy the speed. But the thing is, you can't copy Aiden, the Chiefs, with the speed. I mean, you got Henry Ruggs on the Raiders, right? But you got to be able to get the football to him. So Carr and Mariota are nowhere near Patrick Mahomes and his ball placement, him threading the needle. I actually love Fuller, but what's his deal? He gets hurt every year. He never can stay healthy. Deshaun Watson had a great rapport with Fuller. So if you end up having him in fantasy and he stays healthy, you can almost bank on him getting 100 yards and a touchdown or 2. But he just can't stay fucking healthy. And D-Hop has been a top 2 wide receiver pretty much since he came into the league. I've always thought D-Hop was better than Julio, Mike Evans, and all Keenan Allen and all the other guys. I've always had AB 1, DeAndre Hopkins 2 or DeAndre Hopkins 1 AB 2. Back in the day, Julio 3. But then since Michael Thomas has come in the league, I feel like he's the best wide receiver in the game now. But you got DeAndre Hopkins at 2. And then you have a few other guys coming up into the top 3 standings like Tyreek the Freak Hill and a few of these other guys that are kind of making a name for themselves. So losing D-Hop is big. I mean, that's the best player that you guys have had on your roster since J.J. Watt. And it's like almost like if you were going to trade J.J. Watt away, but it hurts a little bit more because J.J. Watt is injury prone as well, and he's kind of at the latter part of his career. D-Hop still has a lot of years left. So I got to really see what Deshaun Watson's going to do. But I'll tell you what, if D. Watson can get them to the playoffs this season, he definitely deserves to be a top 5 quarterback ranking, not only in Madden, by everyone in the NFL. Because I don't think anyone's really given the Texans a shot to get anything over 8 wins. It's like 8-8 is the max right now, losing D-Hop. And I think Bill O'Brien, to be honest, is not a good coach. I don't like his moves, with the D-Hop move and the coaching style. You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like a right fit. You need a different personality in there, and I would fire him. I'd get someone different. That's just me personally. Ryan Schreck, when it's good enough to throw 50 TDs in a season. Wentz, it's tough to get 50 TDs. We know that. Nola said, we're going to meet Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Well, you got to get to the NFC Championship game first, my guy. And AFC does have competition, Nola. We talk about this all the time, man. You can love your Saints, but don't have the blinders on. You don't have just the Saints blinders on when you're just thinking Saints, because you guys have been saying that the last 3 years, and what's happened the last 3 years? You haven't really been able to get the job done. And sometimes it was the Saints' fault. Sometimes it was the referees' fault. Sometimes it was a miracle in Minneapolis. You had Minneapolis Miracle. You had the bad pass interference call that wasn't called against the Rams, and then just shitty O-line play, and Danielle Hunter and Everson Griffin fucked you up. So you got to be able to get past all that adversity and pointing the blame at the refs and everyone else and just talk football and be focused. And then you had Drew Brees with his comments in the offseason. Is the locker room going to be divided? It's going to be one of those things that is there going to be a distraction there? So, I mean, I definitely feel that the Saints are a top 2 team in the NFC, right? And I got the Niners up there and a few other teams, Packers. There's going to be some nice top dogs, Seahawks, Eagles, and maybe my Bucs can sneak in, right? But the thing is even if the Saints go to the Super Bowl, I don't know if they can beat the Ravens or the Chiefs. I really feel that the AFC has got the 2 best teams in football with the Ravens and the Chiefs. Hands down. And then if the Patriots and Cam Newton get there, right, or the Buffalo Bills get there, that's not going to be an easy team to beat, or the Pittsburgh Steelers with Big Ben. I mean, you definitely have a better shot winning the Super Bowl if you play the Steelers, the Bills, or the Patriots with Cam Newton, in my opinion. Unless Cam Newton plays like the MVP Cam Newton, and if that happens, then you might not be able to even beat them. If they're the team that somehow surprises everyone and gets to the Super Bowl, you just don't know. And I'm an NFC guy. You know what I mean? I love NFC more than AFC, but I'm not blinded to greatness and talent. I mean, you got to look at the roster, the total roster, top to bottom. You know what I mean? With everyone that's on the team, offense, defense, O coordinator, D coordinator, special teams coordinator, head coach, starters, bench. I mean, you got to look at the full picture, my guy. You know what I mean? And I think that they are definitely a contender, but I think that the AFC team, either Ravens or Chiefs, are winning the Super Bowl this year. I'd say Chiefs number 1 back-to-back, and then Ravens 2. That's just kind of how I feel, unless injuries end up happening. I thought that backwards pass was edited. That was real. That was real, man. Mahomes can do it, man. Mahomes is insane. He can do blindfold, one eye patch, behind the back, left hand, right hand. I've never seen a player as talented as him. So question, Orion, do you think the Chiefs going undefeated? No. As great and as much love that I give the Chiefs, I just call it how I see it. I'm a Bucs fan. I have no bias. You know what I mean? There's no Skip Bayless talk where I'm just talking out of my ass or talking for ratings or for money or whatever, donations. I just call it how I see it. The Chiefs are great. It's almost impossible to go undefeated in the NFL because the thing is you're always going to have that one team that you sleep on, or you're going to have a matchup like Chiefs-Ravens where if you end up dropping that game to the Ravens, that doesn't mean that your team's not good. That's just another great team, that you're playing. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. As great as teams are nowadays, I don't see any teams going undefeated anytime soon. Even if Mahomes gets 3 or 4 Super Bowls in 5 or 6 years, I mean, if any team was going to go undefeated, it would be the Chiefs, at some point. But there's the parity of the NFL, of just sleeping on a team, or maybe they rest their players, week 16, to get ready for, home field advantage, and they don't want to play Mahomes, and you bring in like Matt Moore, or you bring in the backup, and then you drop that game. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those scenarios. But like I said, if any team would go undefeated, I feel it was the Chiefs. The Ravens have a soft schedule besides the Chiefs, so that's why they're favored in every single game, and they brought in Calais Campbell. He's going to be a huge impact for that Ravens defense. I mean, it's like a Ed Reed, Ray Lewis impact, I really feel. Even more of an impact than Haloti Ngata was, which was a pretty solid, fit and piece that the Ravens had, a cog in that wheel to really make that bus run. And I feel that Calais Campbell's got a lot left in the tank, and Judon's still there as well. Marlon Humphrey's underrated. So they got a lot of nice pieces on the Ravens. The only thing that kind of concerns me is kind of the offensive line. What is that going to look like? Can Mark Ingram stay healthy? Marshall Yanda retired, and he was one of the best offensive linemen that I've ever seen. So there are some question marks there. But as long as Mark Ingram is there, that's going to make Lamar's job easier. A quarterback's best friend is a great running game, and they get it with Mark Ingram. Lenny D says, in my opinion, Tyrann Mathieu is a top 2 safety in the NFL. But again, it could be my bias talking because I'm an LSU Tigers fan. I don't think he's top 2, but he played like a top 2 safety last season. I feel that he can be a top 5 safety, right? And you could argue he plays like a top 2, top 3 safety. But in my opinion, based on kind of what I see, I like Jamal Adams 1, right? I like Kevin Byard 2. Then a tie between Derwin James on the Chargers and Honey Badger at 3 and 4. So I have him right there in the top 4. And there's other guys that you can mention at safety as well. Definitely not Harrison Smith like they had him number 1 in Madden, which was fucking crazy. But that's kind of how I feel as far as value, what you see in the NFL nowadays. Jamal Adams is the best safety in football to me, right? And then I like Kevin Byard from the Titans. He's amazing. Top dogs, right? And then right there, Honey Badger at 3, and then Derwin James has an opportunity like Jamal Adams to be the new breed, to really show out. But we just got to see if Derwin James can stay healthy. He's had problems at Florida State and now in the pros staying healthy. So based off just the health factor, you can definitely put Honey Badger at 3, which is amazing. I mean, because at some point, he slid back out of the top 5 where he was maybe like a top 10 safety, and then getting on the Chiefs was perfect to really showcase his skill set to show how great he really is. Let's see here. Said Chip Kelly broke up a potential Super Bowl team, but there's no chance that happens. JJ Trilla, finally someone shows some love. Thank you so much, JJ Trilla. $2 donation. Bang! Thank you. Dallas sweeping them bum ass Eagles this year. 100 emoji. Cowboy emoji. What up, JJ Trilla? How are you? I was waiting for you to get in the building. All Eagles fans in the building. You're the only Cowboy one in the building so far, I believe. Good to see you, man. We damn boys in the building. The shit talking will commence starting in 3, 2, 1, go. It's in there. How do you feel about the Redskins getting rebranded? Blake. Or it's not Blake, it's Midget. My Midget. Balky Midget. What'd it do? I feel that the, sensitivity of everyone, it's just one of those things, you know what I mean? Like, I like the Redskins name. Yeah, I know some people think it's like a racist connotation, which I get. It's the Redskins. But if you're going to get rid of all that, then the Cleveland Indians, the Atlanta Braves, and then the Chop, and it's just like, man, I just want sports to be back. You know what I mean? Then you got Dan Snyder with the pipping out his cheerleaders. I mean, the Redskin organization is just... they're kind of in shambles, but they do got Ron Rivera, which is great. So at least you got him instead of Jay Gruden leading the force. You got Chase Young. The defense is great, right? They need to improve on the offense. Dwayne Haskins has some potential. Darius Geis could be a force if he can stay healthy. The best thing on offense is Scary Terry McLaurin, which I love. And I hope they go with the Red Wolves. But then there's that guy in Washington that bought 44 trademark names. Every single leaked name that was recommended, this guy bought each one of them for like $275 a piece with the trademark. So that way he gets paid big money from the Redskins or the Washington organization when they decide on which one to use. Comment below which name that you guys like the best. Personally, I like Red Wolves the best. And the logo that I've seen with the R, they can still keep that. I just like the Red Wolves. I think it's just a slick name. You're not going to go DC and then whatever. You know what I mean? You're going to do Washington and then go from there. So I like the Red Wolves personally. I hope they go with that one. I would honestly hope that they would just keep the Redskin name with all the history and the tradition, HTTR. But if I had to choose one, I would go Red Wolves. I can name every future QB that resembles the quarterbacks that own they're on their way out. Lenny D. Yeah, I know, right? Toby says, what about the AFC South? AFC South is nice. Titans are dominant, right? They should win the division. The Colts can make the wild card this year with Phillip Rivers. I love Darius Leonard. I love Quentin Nelson, the best offensive lineman in the game. But with the Texans and the Jags, I mean, I don't really see a whole lot from either of those teams. You know, I don't see a playoff opportunity really from either one. But if the Jags win like 3 games, and the Bears win like 4, it's going to be a Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. And if Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jags, which would be great, or if Trevor Lawrence goes to the Bears, I mean, look out. I mean, that's really going to change a lot. I mean, it would probably benefit the Bears more because they have a lot more talent on their roster than the Jags at this point. But it would probably mean more to the Jags just because they're so far down compared to other teams. If you could get a player like that, like Tua, you know, and what he's going to mean to the Dolphins, Burrow, what he's going to mean to the Bengals, and Herbert, eventually what he's going to mean to the Chargers. I'm excited to see where he goes. Jags would probably be more beneficial for the NFL, but if he ends up going to the Bears, I mean, watch out. That NFC North is going to be crazy. Nathan Dotson. Suppo, Rizzle, what it do, Nathan? Hope you're having a great Saturday. Big Mike. Hey, Orion, what it do? Pierpont, my guy. You're Big Mike now? Big Mike. Pierpont in the building. What it do, my guy? Miss you. Hope everything's going good. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'll go back and do my list again. I've been online now for about an hour and 10 minutes. We got the top 10 games of 2019. They're at number 7. Rams, Seahawks. They're doing a marathon of the best matchups in the NFL from last season, which is great. Let me take a quick look. My phone is just going off the hook here. All right. Real quick. All right, Pierpont, what'd it do? So I think the Jags can sweep the Colts. Toby. Woo, I don't know, man. I don't think so. They'd be lucky to get 1 win. I mean, I like Gardner Minshew Mania, right? I like him, but I'm not sure if he's the guy for the future. I don't think so, right? Mustache Mania was great last season, but I don't know. I like DJ Shark at wide receiver, great fantasy player, right? Leonard Fournette is kind of a hothead. He used to be a top 5 running back, but now he's probably top 12, right? They lost Calais Campbell, they lost A.J. Bouye, they lost Jalen Ramsey. I mean, all the guys that they had on their roster are really no longer there. So, I mean, they don't really have a whole lot. I mean, how are the Jags going to win games, period? And why would you even want to win games this season when you could get a guy like Trevor Lawrence on your team next year? I mean, you and the Bears have the best shot. I assume you're a Jags fan, but they got the best shot to get him. And if you get a guy like that, that could be the next Andrew Luck or better come into your franchise. I mean, if you get Trevor Lawrence, you're probably going to playoffs within the first 3 years of him getting there in that division, maybe even sooner, depending on who you pick up with him. Van Jefferson is nasty. He is. Ryan Schrick said, no lie, I wanted Van Jefferson in the draft in the later rounds. He has elite footwork and route running. That's facts. Agreed. I'm going to miss Van at University of Florida. Great hands, elite route running. He is so smooth. Facts. Lenny D says he reminded him of Stephon Diggs. That's a great comparison. I agree. A guy in the building, Raiders. The Chiefs have been built for a long time. That's another reason the offense is so stacked. Hard to build a team of their caliber in a couple seasons. Well, even that being said, you have great coaching, right? You got Andy Reid. You got Bieniemy. You're not going to really get a great 1-2 combo like that just off the street, right? And then they built the defense, and then they got rid of their D coordinator, got a better one, right? Brought in Frank Clark and Honey Badger. Those are 2 of the best off-season pickups I've seen in the last probably 15 years based on what they did, because Frank Clark came in, and, you know, he's probably a top 15 pass rusher, but he played like a top 8 pass rusher with the Chiefs. And then Chris Jones is there, very underrated. To me, he's a top 5 pass rusher in the entire league, period, out of all the teams. And then Honey Badger is a top 3-4 safety in the league as well. And he gives you that swag and that confidence like he had when he was a Honey Badger at LSU. I mean, he's one of those guys that I've always loved watching. There's like Troy Polamalu at safety is one of my all-time favorites, Ed Reed, and then Honey Badger's right up there with him. And for my personal favorites, I also like Brian Dawkins, John Lynch, but there's certain guys that when you see him play safety out there, Ronnie Lott is another one from back in the day when I was a kid. You just can't build guys like that. They're just so special. All those guys that I mentioned, and I think that he's in that same kind of category. He's a little bit smoother than some of the guys. He gives you that Troy Polamalu smoothness and Ed Reed smoothness, Honey Badger, because he can punch the football out, but he can get a pick six and run it to the house as well. Love him. Nathan Dotson says, Wentz has Mahomes-like potential. If he can ever stay healthy, he probably would be able to showcase it. I wouldn't say he's as good as Patrick Mahomes, but he definitely is a top 4 quarterback in this league, and that's facts. And then A-Guy says, Wentz isn't Mahomes. Man, I'm sorry. I hate the Chiefs. Well, you're a Raiders fan, so. So the Madden worker said that they put Michael Thomas in the 99 because they didn't want to see him cry. I did see that meme and that gif, but that's BS. Michael Thomas deserved it. He's great. He's like, Nathan, I don't think he has Mahomes' potential quite. Because Mahomes is one of those guys, I mean, any guy, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, right? They both have 1 Super Bowl each. And then you got Carson Wentz, who's got one that helped him get there. Patrick Mahomes is not only the best quarterback in the league, Patrick Mahomes, the clone, Showtime, could end up being the best ever. I don't think a lot of y'all realize that. You want to hope that your teams get Super Bowl rings and build their legacy. But I'm a Joe Montana guy. I've been watching football since 1985. Joe Montana, Peyton Manning are probably my 2 favorite quarterbacks of all time. So if you have a Mount Rushmore, you have Tom Brady, you have Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, right? And then you probably have, who else? Drew Brees, John Elway. But Patrick Mahomes could end up being etched in Mount Rushmore. He's that good, and he could end up being on that Joe Montana level, 4 Super Bowls, no losses, but then even Brady was 6 out of 9. I could see Patrick Mahomes getting to that Brady level. If he plays another 15, 16, 17 years, I could see him getting to that 6 Super Bowl mark and tying Brady, or maybe even possibly surpassing Brady and getting 7. If any guy has potential to end up getting to that Joe Montana 4 Super Bowl, right, Terry Bradshaw 4 Super Bowl, or Tom Brady 6 Super Bowl winner, era, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's that good. I just don't think that a lot of y'all realize that he's not only the best quarterback now, and there's a huge gap between him and even Russell Wilson at 2. There's a huge gap to me, right? And then Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, there's a gap. And then Aaron Rodgers to Wentz is a slight gap. But Mahomes is not only the best quarterback I've ever seen, he can be the best of all time. And think about that. For me to say that, you know what I mean? I'm a Bucs fan, but I watch the tape. I watch the footwork. I read the articles. You know what I mean? He is a very special player once, not only in just a generation, we're talking once in a lifetime. Like, you could watch football for 100 years, and we may not ever see someone as good as Patrick Mahomes ever again. I'm just saying. They need to keep the coaching, staff there, OC, DC, keep defense there, pass rushers to help him out, keep the weapons around him. But as long as he's there and he doesn't have a significant injury, could be the best quarterback of all time. And I truly believe that. That's facts. A-Guy says, Rodgers the best thrower of the pigskin I've ever seen. Chiefs get hot and cold. I don't think that they can go 16-0. I don't think anyone's going to go 16-0. Just saying. JJ Trilla in the building. Love you. Appreciate you. All right, let me scroll down here. The shit talking commences. All right, Israel's in the building. What to do? Is Saints going to be messed up again this year, or just probably have a chance to go to the Super Bowl? You know what? They have a shot. They got to get out of their own heads, first off. You know what I mean? I still think they're a top 2 team in the NFC right now with the Niners. Right now, today, those are the top 2. And then you got the Packers and the Bucs and the Seahawks and a few other sleeper teams like the Lions and Eagles, I got to mention up there, Cowboys, Cardinals, Rams might be sleeper teams. Cardinals, Rams, Lions. I could see them, kind of surprising people. But in the NFC, but anything's possible in the NFC, you know what I mean? But regardless of what team makes it, even if it's the Saints, I don't know if you can beat the Ravens or the Chiefs this year. Bottom line, I think that they're a little bit better than everyone else in the league at this point. So, NFL top 5 rivalries going into the 2020 season. My fucking top 5. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy like JJ Trilla did. Thank you, man. Appreciate you very much. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. So I'll go over this top 5 list again one more time, and then I'll probably end up ending the live stream, since I've been going now for about an hour and 17 minutes. So my honorable mention outside of my top 5 involves Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph. It actually involves the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those two teams hate each other with a passion, just like the Eagles and the Cowboys. I love that matchup this season. It's going to be exciting to see what the Browns can do with Wills from Bama on the line in the draft, Jack Conklin from the Titans coming in. So they have a top 10 offensive line group now, the Browns. And you got Kevin Stefanski leading the charge instead of Hugh Jackson and all the rest in the past, right? So we'll see what can really happen there. But also on the flip side, Big Ben Revenge Tour, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Conner, Eric Ebron, TJ Watt on the flip side with Bud Dupree. Minka Fitzpatrick is one of the best players in the NFL. So I'm excited to see what happens there. And then Myles Garrett got his money. I'm excited to see if he can have a 10-plus sack season. Denzel Ward is a lockdown corner. I love him. I love Nick Chubb, my favorite player on the Browns, and has been since he's been drafted there from Georgia. So we'll see what happens. But those matchups could be very exciting because if the Browns can beat the Steelers twice, the Bengals twice, and split with the Ravens, they're going to the playoffs this season with 10 wins or more. But I just don't know if that's possible this year because I think the Ravens and Steelers are going to be legit. The Browns are a little bit more of a question mark. Same thing with the Bengals. Joe Burrow could overachieve with Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow and A.J. Green. Joe Burrow and avoid the boy, Tyler Boyd. Joe Burrow and T. Higgins from Clemson, the rookie. Joe Burrow and John Ross from UW. So, I mean, they got some nice weapons there. Geno Atkins is one of the most underrated players on defense in the league for the Bengals as well. They don't have a whole lot on defense, the Bengals, or the offensive line, but they're coming. They're coming. The Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, my honorable mention in my top 5 rivalries going into 2020, especially with Myles Garrett with the helmet incident on Mason Rudolph's head, swinging that helmet, and then he got his big cheddar, got his money. Number 5, my number 5 rivalry stays in the AFC North, and this is a fun matchup to watch every year. Lamar Action Jackson going against Big Ben, the Ravens and the Steelers. And like I said, when you see these two teams play, the Ravens are going to be favored every time that they play the Steelers, the Browns, or the Cincinnati Bengals. Lamar Action Jackson gets a lot of love, gets a lot of credit. Sometimes maybe is overrated to a certain degree. I mean, he's the best runner of the football at the quarterback position that we've seen since like a Michael Vick was amazing. Sometimes we would see Steve Young in his moment. But as far as running the football as a quarterback, I'm not sure if we're going to see another one. We saw Colin Kaepernick, Marcus Mariota. We've seen these other guys with kind of RG3 that kind of had, moments in their career. But Lamar can do it long term. But I really feel it's going to be Mark Ingram, and the success that they have with him. No Marshall Yanda, which is going to hurt on the offensive line. He retired, but then Calais Campbell coming in. The defense is going to bail out Lamar, right? And he needs to be better in the pocket and better on third down. He's not going to be able to scramble like he did last season for the rest of his career. Teams will take better angles, and if you shut Mark Ingram down and he gets 80 yards or less, you're going to shut down Lamar because then you're going to get 8 or 9 in the box, and they'll blitz him, and eventually they'll double team him, triple team him, have a QB spy on him. They're not going to be as explosive. The schedule's soft besides the Chiefs. They're favored in every game this season, the Ravens. I can see the Ravens winning the Super Bowl this season. Chiefs is my number 1 option. Ravens is number 2. I see those as the 2 best teams in the league. But as far as a fan of greatness, a fan of progression, I want to see Lamar. He's never going to be Patrick Mahomes, ever, right? He's a different type of player. It's kind of like a Michael Vick, right? But I need to see a little bit more accuracy in the pocket. I need to be able to see him stay in the pocket a little more and not just run when his first look, his first option is covered. Go through your first progression, second progression, third progression, and then run. Or at least go through the first 2. You know what I mean? Let me see what you can do with your arm like you did at Louisville. You know what I mean? I need to see you get better in the clutch when your team is down by 10, with 10 minutes left in the fourth. Can I count on you to be able to make those big throws like I do with Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't really trust him like that just yet. Just because you get on the cover of Madden don't mean shit, right? But the season that he had, 6th best rusher last season out of all the running backs, and he's a quarterback. So that was amazing. But let me see a little bit more accuracy. Let me see you thread the needle. Let me see you make, better throws to Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown. Let me see the progressions a little bit more, And I think that he can do it, but it's going to take time for him. He was a project guy. You got to think of all the guys that got drafted ahead of him, right? Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen. So to be getting picked all over those guys, he's got a lot to prove, but they built the system around him, which is great. That's why Ozzie Newsome is one of the greatest GMs and front office personnel people that the NFL has ever seen out of any personnel person on any roster. Ozzie Newsome. Fantastic, right? So we'll see where that goes. Ravens, Steelers, my number 5 NFL top rivalry going into 2020, and God bless America, we get to see that twice. Number 4, normally this rivalry is up a lot higher than normal, but I'm excited to see this matchup. You got Richard Sherman. You got Dangerous and Russell Wilson. I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. I could watch them play just like the Eagles and the Cowboys 3, 4, 5 times a year. I live in Oregon. We're right here in the Northwest. A lot of Seahawks fans. JJ Trilla, bang! Thank you so much, man. You're the only one holding it down in the donos today, and you came in late to the stream. Thank you so much, JJ Trilla. We damn boys! Cowboys in the building. Without Foles, how does their Super Bowl year end? Even year after before that with Wentz got hurt. 5-6. He goes down. Cowboys talking smack. Eagles fans talking smack. I love it. JJ Trilla, $2, $5. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you very, very much. You the man. And as we know with that conversation, JJ Trilla, Foles is a guy that was just a system guy. Anytime he goes somewhere else, he can't really get it done. He's not a guy that can go to another team and win a Super Bowl or even get a team to a playoffs, personally. You know what I mean? He's decent, but he's not elite or considered good. I mean, out of all the quarterbacks that are in the league, out of 1 to 32, you got to probably put Foles somewhere between 20 and 32. I mean, he's kind of average. I mean, sometimes he makes plays, but he really relies on coaching and the talent that's around him. Because if he was really that good and a better journeyman like a Brad Johnson or a Rich Gannon, he would have been able to put up better stats in the other places that he's gone prior to the Eagles and after the Eagles. But he just, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. He's just one of those players. He helped you guys get the ring, but, it is what it is. That's facts. But the Niners and the Seahawks, I can't wait to see Jimmy G's progression this season. I'm really excited to be able to see what they can do with DeForest Buckner being traded to the Colts. They got Brandon Ayuk in from Arizona State, which will be a clone of Deebo Samuel since he got hurt in the offseason, right? I love George Kittle, top 2 tight end in the league, right? The defense has got Dee Ford, Eric Armstead from go Ducks, right? And one of my favorite pass rushers in the league, Nick Bosa. They got Richard Sherman. You got plenty of pieces there. Fred Warner is one of my favorite players in the league at linebacker as well. So for me, the Niners are probably the best team right now going into the NFC in 2020. Yeah, they lost, DeForest Buckner. I get it. And I'm not saying that the Niners are even going to make the NFC Championship game this year, but with all the guys they have returning, and I love Kyle Shanahan, they're built for long-term success to be kind of that franchise, that dynasty kind of team in the NFC. I see long-term stability out of the San Francisco 49ers, and I don't know if Jimmy G's the guy. Honestly, I don't think he is. I think they need to move on from Jimmy G and get someone better. But, if you have a solid running game and a great defense, you can still pull off miracles like they did where you can go 4-12 and then 12-4 and turn it around. But a lot of that is coaching. The D coordinator for the Niners is amazing. We saw him all last year, passionate, enthusiastic. I love him. And Kyle Shanahan is a G. And the Seahawks, as long as you got Dangerous, you're always in games. You're going to go 9 wins or more every time Dangerous is there. There is no more Legion of Boom. Frank Clark is no longer there. You got B-Wags, Bobby Wagner, and that's pretty much it. You had Frank Clark there, but he went to the Chiefs and got a Super Bowl ring. And then the offense is a little bit better. You got Tyler, get to the door and lock it. DK Metcalf, he's going to break out. Chris Carson, the most underrated running back in the whole entire league, period. Right? So they got weapons there, but they need to stay healthy. But as long as you got Pete Carroll and Dangerous, you have a shot to win the NFC West, and if not, get into the playoff picture as a wild card. Love the matchup. Lots of Niners and Seahawk fans here in Oregon and Washington and California. I love that matchup, and I've loved that matchup for quite a few years now. Niners, Seahawks, my number 4 matchup. Number 3, as you can see on the helmet and the thumbnail, Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski are part of my Bucs. It's a Bucs life. Fire the cannons. Going against the New Orleans Saints and Drew Brees. Brady, Brees. Twice a year, 2 times this year, 2 times next year. And guess what? We get Brady, Brees week 1 in the Dome. I don't know if we're going to be able to win that game, but I know we're going to be competitive, and this is the most relevant, competitive team that I've seen since 2007, and that's the last time that I was actually good. I had Jeff Garcia at quarterback in 2007, went to the playoffs, lost, right? In 2005, I had Chris Sims, played the Redskins in the first round, lost, and then prior to that was my Super Bowl year in 2002 when I played the Raiders and won the Super Bowl. So it's been a long time since 2007. We're in 2020 now. 13 or 14 years of heartache of my shit-ass team. But I stuck with them. I never gave up on them. Now you got Tom Brady, which looks nice, right? Mike Evans, top 10 wide receiver in the league. Chris Godwin, a top 10 wide receiver in this league, in my opinion, especially from last year and moving forward. He's got one of the best sets of hands in the entire NFL, period. They got Tyler Johnson from Minnesota in the draft, will be the next Chris Godwin, third option at wide receiver. He's awesome, right? You got Rob Gronkowski, something to prove. Played with Tom with the Patriots many years, right? O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. So a nice trio of tight ends, right? The offensive line still needs some work, so we'll see where it goes with that. Rumors of Donovan Smith not wanting to play of COVID. That will definitely hurt the Bucs if that is true and he doesn't change his mind. But the front seven on the defense is nice. JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, Ndamukong Suh, right? Shaq Barrett leading the league in sacks last year, 19.5. He'll have at least 10 this season. Levante David, the jersey I got on right now, my favorite player in the league. Ultimately, second to Derek Brooks of all time for my Bucs and Mike Allstott, all right? And then you got Devin White from LSU, who started to break out at kind of the back end of the season. We went 4-2 the last 6 games, created a lot of turnovers. The front seven is not getting a lot of love in the media, but they're going to be the ones that help me get to the playoffs this season. And the secondary is better than people think. And they got Antonio Winfield Jr., Antonio Winfield's son. So look out for my corners and safeties to take a huge leap this year, especially with the front seven that I have. So I'm super excited to see the competitiveness of the Bucs. So it's no longer like, after week 4 where I'm like, oh, it's time for the draft, because that's how it's always been for me since 07. You go 1-3, 2-2, 0-4, and you're like, fuck, the season's over for me. Now, there's a chance. Week 1 in the Dome against the Saints, week 6 against the Packers. Somehow, some way, even if you lose those 2 games and win the 4 in the middle against like the Panthers and the Broncos, 4-2, if you got at least a 4-2 or 5-1 record within the first 6 weeks, we're going to the playoffs. And I think we can do some damage. The Super Bowl is in Tampa this year. Hopefully they have fans in the stadium, so instead of like 20,000, maybe 10, and they split the people apart, it won't be as loud. But I feel that if Tampa can get to the playoffs, they can win a playoff game with Brady. Who knows if they can overachieve and get to the NFC Championship game. I'm not expecting that this year or next year, but if it happens, I'm going to be super stoked. And then if somehow, some way they pull a miracle off and can beat the Saints or the Niners or the Packers or the Seahawks or the Eagles or the Cowboys, and they can get in to the Super Bowl, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, right? If they get there, even as hyped as I would be, right? If they play the Chiefs or the Ravens, you're probably not beating them, right? But if you play the Chiefs, it's almost a guaranteed L. If they play the Ravens, I think we have a little bit better of a shot. But I don't know. I don't know if that's even possible. But just getting the playoffs will make me happy, just because it's been so long. Most of y'all don't know what it's like to go 13 years without making the playoffs. That's a long time for any sport team that you're following. And remember this, I'm a Mariner fan too. They haven't been in the playoffs since 01, the longest drought in MLB. I'm a Ken Griffey Jr. guy. I'm a Dodger fan for my dad, so there's a little bit more success on that end. But for a Mariner fan, no success or no happiness at all. I'm a Blazer fan, so as of late, when they went to the Western Conference Finals and got their ass kicked by Steph Curry, that was nice, right? I'm an Oregon Duck fan, so I have success there. But, one team out of 4, that's rough sometimes being a sport fan, a Northwest sports fanatic. But I'm excited for this season. And for the New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees is amazing. Hall of Famer. They got about 2 years left to get this done so he can walk off into the sunset. They got AK-41 Alvin Kamara, a top 10 running back in the league. If he stays healthy all year, he'll be top 5. Latavius Murray, a good backup. Michael Thomas, Madden rating number 99, the best wide receiver in the game. You can't guard him. You only hope to contain him. Michael Thomas. Emmanuel Sanders coming in, obviously in free agency, was a huge pickup. Jared Cook, cooking up the competition, a top 10 tight end. So it's looking nice for them. They picked up Ruiz in the draft from Michigan to help with their offensive line issues. Warford's out. Andrews Pete got the extension. McCoy from Texas A&M from the year before on the offensive line. So with McCoy and with Ruiz, that should help out the O-line problems they've had. Cameron Jordan will be dominant. Sheldon Rankins should be great. Marcus Davenport should be fun to watch. right? They got a lot of pieces there. Demario Davis, a.k.a. the glue at linebacker, one of my favorites that's on the Saints. Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, I can keep going on and on and on. You got Coach Payton there. So they're the team to beat in the NFC South. I assume they're going to win the NFC South, even though I wish my Bucs could beat them this season and next season and take the crown. But you got to take baby steps. You got to crawl before you walk. But what I do know is they're going to be competitive, and I'm really excited to see how close the games are, and if somehow, some way the Bucs can steal that first game in the Dome against the Saints, which no one can win there, and if Tom Brady can get it done, the hype train and the bandwagon fans are going to hop onto the Bucs bandwagon, and I can't wait. Number 3 matchup, the Bucs and the Saints. I can't wait. Twice a year, Brady versus Breeze. Brady, Breeze, Breeze, Brady. 2 times this year, 2 times next year. And, oh yeah, guess what? I got Gronk too. I can't wait. Number 3, Bucs, Saints. Number 2 is one of my favorite rivalries of all time. I've watched them from Randall Cunningham to Troy Aikman with Emmitt Smith and all the amazing players, like one of my favorites of all time, Brian motherfucking Dawkins. Represent. Fly, Eagles, fly. I absolutely love this matchup. The Eagles versus the Cowboys. Wentz, Dak. Dak, Wentz. What is going to happen this season? Who is going to win the NFC East? Who is going to make the playoffs? Who is going to overachieve? Who's going to underachieve? Right? What are you going to get from Zeke Elliott? Yum, 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 yum. What are you going to get from Miles Sanders? What are you going to get from Jalen Reagor? What are you going to get from CeeDee Lamb? This is exciting. I can't wait to be able to see these teams play each other. It's always a fun matchup. It's literally probably the best matchup for me as a fan to watch every year. And I mean, we got Chiefs and Ravens and Niners, Seahawks, and then the Bears and the Packers and all these other matchups throughout the NFL rivalry setup, the Browns and the Steelers. But something about the Eagles and Cowboys, just like the fans that are in the chat right now talking shit to each other every time I do a stream, which I love, JJ Trilla against all the Eagles fans, it's one of those things that they hate each other, the Eagles and the Cowboys. And Eagles and Cowboys fans have a kind of a dislike for each other. But the thing is, it's fun, man. It's fun to watch that matchup because there's so much shit talking, but there's not a lot of separation between both teams. Both teams are good teams. They're better than the Redskins and the Giants. The Redskins and Giants, Washington Red Wolves, I hope, and the New York Football Giants, they're coming. They're coming, right? But the Eagles and Cowboys are kind of on paper, have been the top 2 dogs for quite some time. They both have the talent to get to the playoffs. They both have the talent to win the NFC East. And they both have the talent to win playoff games this year and go deep. I really think that Niners, Seahawks, you got the Packers, the Bucs, or the Saints. I get it. But if they can stay healthy, I could see the Eagles and the Cowboys making deep runs, a little bit deeper than years past, both of them. But it just depends on the health. DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, Byron Jones is no longer there. Question marks at corner for them. They got a Wuzier there, but what else are you going to be able to do in the secondary? And for the Eagles, can you keep your guys healthy throughout the season? Brooks is out for the year. You brought back Jason Peters. So I'm excited to see just how everything goes. And the player I'm most excited to see, besides Jalen Reagor, is Andre Dillard on the line. And your boy loves offensive linemen, and I love linebackers and defense. So O-line and defense are the positions that I always watch and like to be able to see. Travis Frederick and Byron Jones and all those pieces that we used to see on the Cowboys line. Obviously, they used to have 3 studs. Now they have 2. So we'll see how they progress. Zeke will be obviously on one. He wants respect on his name. But the Eagles fly. And we damn boys, like JJ Trilla in the building with his 2 donations, $2, $5. Eagles, Cowboys, one of the best rivalries in sports, period. I love watching them. I literally could watch this matchup 3, 4, 5 times a year. And a lot of times I secretly root for both teams to do well because I want to see them play each other in the playoffs. Because what's better than the Eagles and Cowboys in the playoffs? I'm not even an Eagles or a Cowboys fan, but just the rivalry and the shit talking is so deep. I love it. And I'm a sport fanatic, and I just love greatness, and I love watching teams play and, having that shit talking and just that rivalry is just so special. I absolutely love it. Eagles, Cowboys, number 2. Number 1, the number 1 matchup that I can't wait to watch, my NFL Top 5 rivalry matchup in 2020, isn't a natural rivalry because they're not in the same division, AFC North and the AFC West. But guess what? They're going to be the two top dogs for years to come. And they're going to have a great rivalry that's going to extend them playing each other in the playoffs and the AFC Championship probably for the next 10 years. We're talking about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, the Ravens flock, and Patrick the Clone Mahomes, Showtime, and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chiefs Kingdom at number 1. They have the Ravens projected to win every game on the schedule, but did they forget they're playing the champs, Patrick Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs this season? I'm excited to be able to see that matchup. It's going to be must-see TV. Mahomes, the MVP the year before. Lamar Jackson, the MVP this past season. They both were on Madden covers. They both got MVPs. But then, the same thing that they had in common, the year that they won the MVP, they didn't win the Super Bowl. So this is going to be something to see if Lamar, after getting the MVP, is this the year they knock off the Chiefs, or do the Chiefs play someone like the Titans or the Patriots and get knocked off to be able to have an easier path for the Ravens to get to the Super Bowl? Because I honestly feel if the Ravens or Chiefs get to the Super Bowl, which I think they will, they are going to be the teams that win the Super Bowl this year. I just don't know if the NFC has got talent to match up. Niners, Saints, Seahawks, Eagles, Cowboys, Bucs, whoever it is. I just don't know if they match up very well to those two teams, just being honest. Chiefs, Ravens, my number 1 matchup, NFL top 5 rivalries in 2020. Honorable mention, like I mentioned, the Browns from Cleveland and the Steelers from Pittsburgh at number 6, Ravens and Steelers at 5, Niners and Seahawks at 4, Bucs and Saints, Brady Breeze twice a year, let's get it. Number 2, Eagles, Cowboys, Cowboys, Eagles, Wentz, Dak Wentz, and Chiefs, Ravens, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Does it get any fucking better than that? I can't wait. And then we got to not, sleep on the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. We don't sleep on Cam Newton and the Patriots, or Big Ben revenge tour and the Steelers in 2020 and the Steelers. Those are the 3 biggest threats to the Ravens and the Chiefs. And as far as the NFC is concerned, Niners, Seahawks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Saints, right? The Green Bay Packers, the Vikings. And then the sleeper team is going to be the Lions, right? The Cardinals and the Rams, right? So, and we got to kind of see where it's going to go. And let's not forget about the Eagles and the Cowboys. So, and then maybe a sleeper team would be the Giants out of that, those 4 teams in the NFC. So a lot of competitiveness in the NFC. I can't wait. But it's going to be exciting to see where it goes. NFL top 5 rivalries going into 2020 with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, either on here like JJ Trilla did, $2, $5. We damn boys, Cowboys in the building. Thank you so much. Either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. NFL top 10 games on 2019, number 7. Week number 5, Rams, Seahawks. They're going to be doing a marathon of the best matchups last season. I wonder where that Saints-Niners matchup from last season ends up. Maybe number 1? That was an amazing game last season. I imagine that'll be number 1 or number 2. But I'll probably be staying up all night if these are going to be going on all night tonight and going into tomorrow. So there are going to be some really spicy matchups. So if you guys have something to do, turn on NFL Network and watch with your boy. I'm watching right now. We got the Rams on their own goal line in the end zone. Jared Goff steps up in the pocket, almost intercepted, incomplete. Seahawks got those lime green jerseys on. I love those. I think a lot of people hate on that kind of color concept, but I love them. I'm an Oregon Duck fan, so I absolutely love that crazy bright kind of yellowish, greenish, fluorescent colored jerseys. Absolutely love them. Derek Mason says, I like the Bills, but I don't know about their quarterback. He's going to have a big year this year. Don't sleep on the Buffalo Bills. They're going to be able to more than likely win the AFC East. I know Cam Newton and Belichick and Josh McDaniels is sexy and all, but Josh Allen has got Stephon Diggs now. They got a nice running back core. Defense is amazing. They are eventually going to end up winning the AFC East. That's facts. Don't sleep on them. They could be the 3rd best team in the AFC. It could be Chiefs, Ravens, Buffalo Bills, Patriots, Steelers. Maybe in that order, maybe not. But I'm just saying. So I think I'm going to end up ending the stream just because I've gone almost 2 hours now. Like I said, I want to make sure I can do some more film study. I want to watch this game that's on TV, the Rams and the Seahawks. I got about 32 websites to go to for every team website to make sure I'm on top of all your teams, all your players, all your moves as we're going into closer to preseason if we have one. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Everyone that argued in the chat, Eagles and Cowboys fans, everyone that left a comment, people that donated like JJ Trilla, $2 and $5. Thank you so much. I love you, brother. We damn boys in the building. I've been grinding out a lot of these live streams, so I hope you guys enjoyed my lineups. JJ Trilla, bang! Another $2. It's that if you had $1 for every time Wentz was hurt. Uh-oh, those are fighting words. Trilla, thank you, brother. You know, I didn't know if anyone was going to be dropping some donos for me today. You came in late, and you came up big for me. So thank you so much, man. 3 donos from you. I know sometimes people can donate. Sometimes, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, people don't have the money to donate every time or once in a while. But I appreciate you, JJ Trilla. You're one of my favorite Cowboy fans in the building. You're always in the building very, very much. And like I said, you guys make sure you stay safe, wash them hands. Enjoy your weekend. It's Saturday night. We got NFL on TV. Turn it on, man. NFL Network. Enjoy it. I'll probably try to do another live stream tomorrow. I've been pumping these out. So enjoy your guys' weekend. Have a great day. Turn on NFL Network. Watch the Rams and Seahawks like I am. I'm going to get to work, watch some film, get on some reading for all the NFL teams so that way I can give you the best coverage for NFL on YouTube because, you know, I do that. The best on YouTube for NFL coverage. It's your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. NFL Top 5 Rivalries going into the 2020 season with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Enjoy your night. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Fanatic family, you guys are the best on YouTube. I love you. Appreciate you. Peace. Buccaneers, baby. Go Bucs. Brady Breeze. Bring it.